Have you ever found yourself caught in an endless loop of worry? One day you feel completely in love, and then the next you feel consumed by doubt. Then on top of that, whenever you go to your friends or coworkers or even your mom for advice, you get terrible advice that only makes your relationship OCD worse. In today's episode, you're going to learn why common relationship advice can be harmful for women with relationship OCD and what you should do. So by the end of the episode, you're going to be able to spot that popular relationship wisdom through an ROCD lens where you can feel validated by knowing that this advice that you've been getting makes things ultra confusing. So I want you to feel seen. I want you to feel heard because you are not alone in feeling this way about your relationship, and you can feel equipped to get the right kind of support for these questions and these doubts. All right, so that whole trust your gut. When you know, you know. And if you have doubts, that's red flags. Okay? No thanks. So today we're calling BS on all of these popular pieces of relationship advice because those pieces of advice might actually be making your relationship OCD worse. So let's talk about why these pieces of advice might actually feel like gaslighting for people who are experiencing OCD. So let's take a short break to hear a word from our sponsor. If you're a therapist, Thrizer transforms the way clients interact with their out-of-network benefits. As you know, clients need to manually submit super bills for out-of-network sessions and then wait months for reimbursement. With Thrizer, clients can just pay a copay for sessions while Thrizer covers the rest of your full rate upfront. They handle everything from verifying out-of-network benefits, submitting claims, to waiting for reimbursement on the client's behalf. In turn, they are an incredibly powerful tool for you and your practice to convert and retain private pay clients. You can try Thrizer completely for free with my link, and you can go to join.thrizer.com/Erin. Now, let's get back to the episode. So that first line of advice, trust your gut, yikes. Like that's really hard for an OCD person to trust their gut because they don't know what's their voice and what's the OCD voice. Your intuition gets hijacked by anxiety. You don't even know where to turn, and then it gets hard to even trust yourself. It's like you have instincts to do one thing, but then there's this voice telling you to do something else. You go to get advice, and the advice you get just conflicts with all of the above. So let's take an example here where let's imagine you're in a relationship with someone named Jake. Jake seems like a fantastic guy. You met him at a friend's wedding. He was everything you thought you wanted. He's kind, he's stable, he's successful. The first few months were perfect. You felt the butterfly feeling, but then something shifted. Your first intrusive thought came up when Jake laughed at something that you didn't think was actually funny. In that moment, you started to second guess your relationship. You started thinking, what if we're not intellectually compatible? Then here comes the spiral. You're Googling how to know if we are intellectually matched. How to know if he's right for me. Then you start getting those physical symptoms like you feel nauseous, you get headaches, you get chest tightness, you can't really eat, and then you don't want to spend as much time with Jake. Then you're waking up the next day and you're wondering, do I love him enough? Why don't I feel those butterflies anymore? Shouldn't I feel more attracted to him? What if I'm settling? What if I'm afraid to be alone? So those are those obsessive questions. Then you start to get into the compulsions. You're checking if Jake is talking to his exes. You're comparing yourself to his exes. You're taking online relationship quizzes. You're asking friends about your relationship constantly. You know what? You may be making a pros and cons list about your relationship. You may even put it into ChatGPT and say, are we right for each other? You're analyzing old text messages for signs that something is wrong or that you're not compatible. Then you finally reach your breaking point. Jake plans a wonderful date. You're so surprised, but even during the date, you're just watching him talk and you feel outside of your body when he's talking. And then you start to think, why can't I just enjoy this? Why am I analyzing every little thing? Then you start to wonder, am I smiling enough? Am I being weird? Do I look happy enough? And it's so much noise going on in your brain when you would love to just be enjoying the date. All of this starts to impact your relationship. Suddenly, Jake starts to act distant. He feels emotionally hurt because you don't even seem to have fun on these dates that he plans. Oh my gosh, don't even talk about intimacy. There's no way you can be intimate with him right now because you're so wrapped up in these worries. All of those fun moments are ruined by checking your feelings. The turning point for you is that you finally realize that this wasn't about Jake at all. This is the same pattern that happens in every relationship. Whether it's a perfect one or a terrible one, you find something to obsess about. And that's when you know it's OCD and it's not about love. That other traditional piece of advice that you get about when you know, it's, oh my gosh, so confusing again for the OCD person because they're like, well, how do I know? I don't even know like if we're meant to be together. So somehow we're supposed to feel like and imagine that there's this magical feeling that is like, oh, it's going to be this happily ever after, when really you're finding yourself doing excessive calls and text. You're demanding an immediate response, or if you're not saying it out loud, you're definitely feeling it. The other thing you're doing is you're experiencing a constant relationship analysis between looking at TikTok and Instagram. And let me tell you, all of that is toxic because it's not doing anything to upgrade your relationship. It's only helping you see the lack and those pieces that you don't have. Because guess what? Your relationship isn't going to be perfect. Your relationship isn't going to meet 100% of your needs. Newsflash! You have to learn to meet some of those needs on your own. It's not fair to put it all on your partner. And the problem here is when you have gone through so many relationships or you're finding yourself single and you haven't found that one person that you want to spend a lot of your time with, you may have even found yourself with a relationship coach. A relationship coach in the sense of like a dating coach. Maybe you just haven't found the right match, you tell yourself. But problem here is you're going to continue to find yourself in obsessive loops and worries and doubts because you haven't fully addressed this cycle, these loops. All right, now that we've exposed this popular relationship advice, let's talk about what you should do instead. First of all, I've got a relationship confidence course that has 5 chapters, all on giving you some groundwork, foundational tools to help you feel secure in your love life. So like some of those concepts include mindfulness, gratitude, using healthy communication. So you can start with my course, and it's this self-paced course all online. I'll put a link in the show notes so that you can go straight to the checkout page. Next piece of advice I have for you is let's delay, skip, and decrease getting those reassurances from our family and friends and even your boyfriend. Okay, so cut back on those things because a lot of those things can set you up for negativity, for the lack and that scarcity mindset. But we want to step into an abundant mindset and a mindset that is open to growth. Okay, so if Jake is not planning a date exactly the way you wanted, let's focus on how he tried, the efforts he did make to put the date together versus gossiping about him to your friends. And so when you start to kind of cut out some of that negativity and you stay consistent with that, you will start to learn to trust yourself in that you're going to do good things by your partner and you're not getting in that spin up that happens whenever you ask for reassurance and you get that relationship advice that just makes you feel more confused or invalidated or anxious. And here's the thing about relationship OCD. OCD loves to ask questions that are unanswerable and almost impossible situations. So you can never know the future. You can never have 100% certainty in your relationship or in much of anything. And so someone with OCD, they want control. And the OCD creates that impossible situation where doing these behaviors like checking their phone or asking for reassurance will somehow help you feel more secure and trust your decision in the partner you chose. But what that actually does, it just undermines you time and time again because inevitably it makes you feel like you don't trust your capacity to make decisions in love. So to start to rebuild your self-trust, Start small. When you start to notice if you're questioning, do I love them enough? Shift this to a more here and now question of like, what's for lunch? Or which movie do I actually want to watch? What activity would feel good to me right now? I also encourage you to challenge that perfect decision myth. That perfect decision myth of, oh, if I pick this person, then I'm going to be happily married with them, and then we're going to have kids, we're going to have a great life together, versus like, well, what would happen if I picked this other person to date or be with? Because y'all, I get it. This dating world sounds like a nightmare. Like you are talking to multiple people at the same time, and you can't be with more than one person for the rest of your life. So you have to make a choice, and you find yourself going down every endless path of like what life would be like in the long run with these dates. So there isn't a perfect decision. Every relationship involves uncertainty, and healthy relationships are built on choosing each other despite the unknowns. So some quick tips to help you in building that self-trust and kind of checking in with yourself. You can ask, is this thought helping or hurting me? Would I give this type of advice to a friend? Is this anxiety speaking, or is this the real me? And lastly, what would I choose if fear wasn't in the driver's seat? So overall, when you're getting that popular relationship advice, first of all, just try to cut it out to begin with, but then you're also going to be working on your own self-trust journey. And remember, building self-trust isn't about never having doubts. It's about learning to sit with the uncertainty and still move forward. It takes a lot of courage and bravery to do that, and I get it. Your relationship OCD wants guarantees, but love, like the real healthy love, doesn't come with that, and that's okay. So if you're tired of the toxic relationship advice that's making your relationship OCD worse, go to my website at livebeyonddoubt.com. I've got a self-paced course and coaching programs available to you. Come back next week where I'm going to have my dear friend Melissa come on the show, and we're going to have a whole conversation about self-trust, passion, and how to build that self-confidence when you've been traumatized by religion.